Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another story time on this channel. Y'all, I don't even know what I'm gonna call this story time. Okay, this is someone like the characters in this story have recently popped up in my life, like just out the blue, coming across them online, seeing them from afar in person, and I just randomly remembered this story and was like, yeah, this is crazy. Like, let me go ahead and tell YouTube. Once upon a time, I had my first talking stage ever. So I remember I was like a freshman in high school and this guy added me on Snapchat, right? Like, in high school, like it's so normal for you to have people on Snapchat that you don't know and that's just like, oh, your friends know them or you've seen them at a game or whatever. This guy added me. I'd never really seen him before, but like I could tell he went to my rival school. He didn't go to my school. And basically he just slides in my DMs like, y'all, I was a black girl growing up PWI. I didn't get many people sliding in my DMs or coming up to me, like for real, especially. But so this was like the first time it really happened, like in high school. It was like towards the end of my freshman year. And for context, this man was black too. In this story, a lot of times growing up PWI, I'm telling stories about other people, but this one is and we're gonna give this guy the name Lizard because I don't care about making fun of him now because now I seen he grown up and turned into a bad person. But I remember my friends used to say he was funny looking and kind of looked like a lizard, so we gonna call him Lizard. So Lizard slides into my DMs like just says I'm pretty, this and that, the whole nine. And back then, when I was like 15 years old, I thought he was cute too, I guess. And so I'm like, oh, thank you. You're cute too. We're like, oh, you go to this school? Like, I have friends at this school. Do you know this one from this school? Do you know this person? We're just like talking casually. And honestly, me, guys not really talking to me wasn't really a problem because I was one of those people that was kind of scared to date. Like, I don't know, my mom gave that vibe where it was like she was very protective. So I was kind of scared to date in general. But I remember we would text and then we would talk on the phone sometimes. And it was real internet, but obviously he lived in my city and like it was like the school year was ending, so it's not like I could run into him at a basketball game, I could run into him at a football game. Like those seasons already passed. And I remember he was starting to be like, oh, like I want to meet you, like we should meet and hang out, like this and that. And mind you, I had already told him what my situation was too, how I was like, my mom was pretty protective, like I don't really think I'm supposed to date this and that. Um and yeah, I was like, I don't know. And y'all know when you're like a kid and you're trying to think, like, how can I make this happen? I remember I was just thinking, I was like, what if like, cause like I don't know about y'all, but I was a yapper. Like I was a yapper. I was a really good kid. I've gone over this before. I was a late bloomer. I was very innocent. And I used to like tell my mom like a lot of stuff when I was like in high school because like I literally wasn't doing anything. But since I knew like how she'd probably react, I would kind of just refer to him as my friend. Like that's basically what he was. Like we ain't seen each other yet, other than the fact that we thought each other were cute, right? So I was like, what if and obviously we're 15, so we don't drive. I'm like, well, what if we have like a double date, like a hangout, and then like we meet each other there, like with other people? And he was like, okay, cool. Like, who would we bring? And I had a best friend at the time. She's still my friend to this day. I wonder if she's watching this, if she remembers she's a part of this. um, we gonna call my friend Megan. I was like, I'll bring my best friend Megan, and like, do you have like a cute boy that Megan can hang out with? And he was like, like I have my brother. His brother was like 2 years older than us, so like we were all in high school, all around the same age. I was like, okay, like y'all know how when you got strict parents, you gotta calculate this. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bring it up and be like, this Friday or whatever day I picked, can I hang out with Megan and my friends from this other school, right? Right. So that's what I did. And like I said, my strict mom did not play. She still asked questions. And I was like very honest. I was like, well, Megan, she's a girl. The other ones are boys. They're brothers, blah, blah. And mom, she's just very protective. over her kids in general, but especially like with men and just trust and stuff like that. And so there was always a catch. So she was like, okay, like, yeah, you can go. And mind you, we were planning on going, I don't know, they're called different things in different places. I'm from SoCal. Um, but we were basically going to a place where there's like an arcade, but then there's also like mini golf, like a fun center. What do they call them? Like family centers, fun centers, recreation centers. We were going to something like that. She's like, okay, you can go. Like, I'll have your dad take you and Megan, but they're going to come. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, like we're not leaving you there with like some random boys, mind you. Like, I mean, I get it. I'm like 21, almost 22 now. Like, I, I understand. I was like 15, 14, 15, something like that. Not that they had to like, not that he had to like hang out with us, but she was like, he's not gonna leave. Like, you guys can do your own thing, and that's what it is. So I'm like, okay. So I report back to Lizard and I tell Lizard the plan. I don't think Lizard's parents were as strict. Also, I think his brother drove. So, like, you know, it wasn't as much as a thing when it comes to boys. But we were like, okay, okay. So the day comes, my friend Megan gets dropped off at my house, and then my dad takes us to the place. We get out, we say bye, we separate, and then I had my first date. I don't even feel like this was a date. But we see the guys and it's fun. It's chill vibes. Like we're just hanging out. Megan did think that Lizard's brother was cute, but y'all, like we were like 15, 15, 16, 17, like all the ages of different people. I was like 15. But well, actually, let me not say that because teenagers be doing crazy stuff. But like it was very lighthearted. It was very just like we played mini golf, we played the arcade games. Like it was typical. We had fun. We hung out for I don't know like 2 hours, and then we left. Like at this point, I never had my first kiss. I never had my first nothing. It was like bye, pat pat hug. Boy, what you thought this was? What's actually so funny and actually kind of cute about the innocence of this story is I actually do remember like I went to the car, like we met my dad at the car, we were ready to leave, and then I realized that I left my jacket in there. So I called Lizard. I was like, "Oh, are you guys still in there? Like I left my jacket." He was like, "Yeah, you can come get it." So I went in by myself and I went to get the jacket, and I remember he handed me the jacket, and I was like, okay, I go in for a hug, and we kind of like bump heads. Like, I don't know, has that ever happened where like you guys bump heads? And then I was kind of just like confused. What was that? But it was like, bye. And then I remember later in the night, he was like, yeah, I was like gonna try to kiss you when you reached for the jacket. That's why like our heads bumped. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay. And y'all, I know that story sounds really cute. This story, like I said, I'm about to be 22. This was almost 7 years ago, at least 6 years ago. I honestly don't remember what happened. I don't even remember how long I was talking to this boy, but I just remember after the date, I just think he displayed some qualities that I found like kind of annoying and cringe. And I just realized, I don't know, y'all, like I'm a Scorpio. I'm much better about how I talk to people and how I consider people and consider everything. Like I'm very like much more empathetic, a little too understanding these days, but like you could still get cut off real quick. What's up? You can still get cussed out. But back then when I was a kid, Scorpio, y'all know how kids are. Like I was way more like cold-hearted. Like, you know, if I were to break something off with someone now, I would call them and I would explain exactly why. Like, hey, this happened. Or I would maybe talk about how, like, maybe they could fix it if it was something I didn't bring up yet, instead of just, like, be super cold, you know? But I would definitely, like, explain everything, whatever, whatever. So I remember one day I was feeling like this, like, I don't want to talk to him anymore. Like, I remember he called me unprovoked. Y'all know when they call you unprovoked and you're just like, ugh. Like, why are you calling me? I remember I was like out somewhere and I got a call and I didn't answer. I think because I was probably with my family or something. But when I came back, I was like, "Hi, I missed your call because I was out." And he was like, "Oh, like you want to FaceTime tonight?" And I was so cold. I was literally just like, I don't think I want to talk to you anymore. Like, I don't think I want to like talk like this anymore. Like, I don't know, y'all. I think I just realized I didn't really like him, but also, like I said, I was not. This was my first time dipping my toes into dating, if you want to call it that, or anything like that. I didn't know nothing about that. I still wasn't really that interested in 15, and also I knew it was gonna be hard. I think it was just a combination of all that. And I remember he was just like, "Oh, okay," and I was like, "Yeah," and the conversation ended, or so I thought. See, nowadays when I'm done talking to someone, unfollow, block if you made me mad. But back then, because I said that was like my first thing, it's like I didn't unadd him or unfollow him. I was like, I didn't really feel the need because it's like back then I didn't have strong feelings. I wasn't looking for anything. So it wasn't that deep. So I just like planned on stopping talking to him. I didn't really care if he moved on. Like I I didn't care to unfollow him, none of that. But I remember sometimes like after the days, I could tell you was sad. Like y'all know when they post subs and stuff. When it's like 11:11, she broke my heart. Like it was so kitty. It was so kitty, but I would just ignore everything. But sometimes he would still try to talk to me. And like, to me it wasn't that deep. So if it was just a random conversation, like he just had a question or something, I would answer. But I remember like eventually he kept trying to like have conversations with me too much where I was like, I said I didn't want to talk to you like that. So like why is he still trying to talk to me often? And I just remember one day, y'all, like he said something. Do y'all remember? I'm about to put this meme for you right here. This SpongeBob meme right here, when people would post it and then they would type letters, y'all. This was like 2016, 2017. Y'all got to stay with me. This this was like when people would post that meme and then they would type in like like capital, lowercase capital. They would make the letters look all weird, and it was like how it was supposed to sound with that picture. Does anybody else remember that? I don't know why this meme helps me remember that. And I think like he started sliding up on my story, like saying stuff in that thing. I would be like, bro, like stop texting me. Like your notifications are like blowing my phone. Like he was just like spam texting me. I feel like to annoy me or to get my, I don't know. But I was literally like, can you stop texting me? Like, can you stop? Like it's really like irritating me. I don't understand because I never been a delivery girl. I'm gonna leave you on red and show you I saw it. I don't want to see that number. Okay. Mm. I hate a boy like that. I hate a boy like that. When you see that phone, why that message thing say 80? How many people are you ignoring? Like you think you cool? You think you cool? But anyway, he kept doing that and I was just like, bro, stop. Like stop texting me. Stop spam texting me. This is weird. And he literally didn't. He just kept. And so I blocked him. I blocked him and I thought that was the end of that. So fast forward again. Y'all know in high school how stuff is not that deep, or I don't know if it's different in this generation's high school, but when I was in high school, stuff wasn't that deep. So you had people from different high schools, like surrounding areas that you didn't know on Snapchat all the time. And I remember I had this one guy from a different high school in our area who didn't go to me or Lizard's high school, but he went, like he was around. And I remember he added me, and I remember I should have known there was something fishy going on, y'all. He tried to like get at me at first. Like I think it was like that type of like, hey, wanna play 21 questions? Like the type of stuff you text someone you're attracted to. And I think I made it very clear. I was like, no, like in high school how you just have random conversations, like you just be bored. Like I think by this time it was like summer, school was out, and I remember making it clear like I don't like you like that, but like I'm just texting you for a conversation. Like he would slide up, we would talk about things. We both played basketball. We would talk about this, and that. And yeah, so, but I remember sometimes he would still try to like act like he was my man. Like I remember one day I was going to a city like an hour away to visit family, and like when he asked like, "Oh, why WD? What you doing today?" Like I told him that, and he was just like, "Oh, like be safe out there, like be safe out there, be careful, like don't let it." Like, I don't know, y'all. I'm not even trying to sound mean, but I just remember he said, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something that was so cringy that was I don't know. It wasn't just like a, oh, be careful, be safe, have fun. It was like a be good out there. Like, don't be talking to new dudes out there. Like, it was something like that. Boy, I'm 15 and I'm going out there with my family. Like, what are you talking about? I just remember it irked my soul and I was like, ew. Boy, this is exactly why I don't like you. I didn't even like your looks, but how you act too. Like, I just thought he was cool. I just thought he was cool. Like, we both played basketball. We bonded over basketball. Sometimes he would tell me about like open gyms I could go to. It was like conversations like that, right? So I remember one specific day he texts me and I see his story. Y'all know in high school, I don't even have Snapchat anymore, but in high school on Snapchat, people used to post what they were doing every single day. I remember seeing his story, seeing he was at an open gym, posting his videos, whatever. Um, oh, did I even give him a name? We're gonna give this guy from another high school, we're gonna give him the name France. So I'm watching France's story. He's at an open gym, and I remember he just randomly texts me like, "Hey." I'm like, "Hey." He just texts me about whatever, y'all. What are you doing today? Whatever, this, and that. I'm like, oh yeah, I saw your videos at Open Gym. But like, it just seemed weird because it's like typically when he said something, like this boy knew what to say or he slid up on something and it like the conversation flowed before, like I said, I would leave him on red because boy, you're getting a little too cringe. But this one, it just felt very static. Like, hey, what you doing? Like, it didn't sound like him, right? Because it wasn't. Mind you, y'all, we were 15, we were kids, so maybe I can't blame him for being a little weirdo. But why all of a sudden, I just get a text, like, in the chat with France, being like, oh, it's me. Mm? I'm like, France? I'm like, question mark? Like, what do you mean? And then he goes, no, it's lizard. I'm like, it's Lizard. Why do you have Francis' phone or why do you have Francis' Snapchat? Like, what are you doing texting me off Francis' phone? And he's just like, cause I seen that you guys talk. And at first he tried to spin it like, oh, like you talking to my friend, like you talk. These boys are grimy. Cause I'm like, first of all, I done rejected both of y'all. I rejected both of y'all. So what? Me and France would literally be talking about nothing. But I was like, I don't even talk to France. Like, we just have conversations. And he was just like, oh, he was like, well, I'm at Open Gym with France, and I asked him to use his phone to text you to tell you to unblock me.
Boy, if you don't.
I'm like, I'm like, why? I'm like, this is so weird. I'm like, why are you using his phone? Like, there's a different way you could have gone about this. Well, actually, maybe not if I had him blocked. But I was just like, what are you so pressed for, y'all? Like I said, like, I was like 15. I didn't care about this at all. Like, and no shade to him if like maybe he had different feelings. That's a common theme I've seen, like with my first boyfriend in high school. Like, I feel like in high school I was just like heartless AF. Like, not in the sense that I was like leading guys on or doing them dirty, but I just never felt like deeply like for situations or people in high school. Like, I didn't like fall in love, like actually crash out over people till like I was older and we were doing older things. So I was just like, so I'm just like, no, this is weird. Like, why are you texting me from your friend's phone? Also, I'm like, where is France at? Because what he letting you do this for? Like, this is weird. And he's like, no, like, Alicia, please unblock me. Like, I'll stop. I'm not gonna like blow you up like that anymore. And like, I'll stop. Like, we're cool. We're cool. Like, just unblock me for real. Like, I wasn't even trying to like be weird. So I'm just like, okay. And y'all, like I said again, like I was really such a mellow, heartless teenager that I didn't really care. So I was just like, okay, as long as you're not gonna blow me up and be weird again, I'll unblock you. And so I remember I did unblock him, and honestly, I don't remember what happened after that. I remember I think I had to end up removing him because he was blowing me up again. And then I remember he added me back later in high school. And then I remember later in high school we were cool. And like if I saw him, like we would talk. And then it's just a whole lot of y'all. But post high school, like when I see him, it's because he is one of those people that I've just heard he turned out to be not a very good person, as in abusive, as in talking to people underage and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think my 15-year-old self dodged a bullet. I don't know, was me rejecting him that hard his villain or his villain origin story? Is it me? No, I'm playing.
Oh, look, nigga. Guess you're still single. Couldn't find another bitch to make your toes tingle.
Yeah, guys, that is a story time of when a guy texted me from his friend's phone to unblock him. Like, what was that, y'all? What was that? This is such like a stupid little story time. I literally just like left my brain until I told you I started seeing some of these people from the story time online and him from afar like a couple months ago. I was like, oh yeah, like that's kind of sad that I hear he turned out to be like this terrible person. I'm like, dang, him like blowing me up and acting crazy like 15 low key was like some early signs of that. But yeah, what was that? I don't know, y'all. That was so unserious. I remember I was like, my mouth was on the floor when I realized, like, I low key being catfish because how do you think you're talking to one guy and then you're really talking to another guy behind the phone, like, and they're at open gym, like, I knew they was trying to do something, like they was trying to act like they got me caught up, but little did they know, like I said, 15-year-old me didn't care. I was like, y'all are weird, and also I rejected both of y'all, so don't even try to make this that. Okay, I don't even remember if I knew they were friends. I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to do. But thank you guys so much for listening to this story time. I feel like I have high school story times for days. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Let me know what you think. If you would have handled it the same, if something like this has ever happened to you. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for making it to the end of this story time, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!